Welcome back to the V.O.C. YouTube channel, College Football Edition. Today we're going to be looking at Week 1, diving into it with some quick hits, hearing from Jim Harbaugh and J.J. McCarthy about an emotional Game 1, how Deion Sanders has flipped college football upside down, and we'll be hearing from Deion. And then we'll be talking about this week's picks. Let's jump into it.
Third down for
So the quick hits for Week 1. Look, Week 1 doesn't give you the greatest amount of games, but it gives you some interesting tidbits, and this Week 1 was very interesting, and I don't want to put a lot into Week 1. That's why I just want to do some quick hits to go over. Look, Brian Kelly is still Brian Kelly. When he was at Notre Dame, when he was at LSU, he still cannot get a team come up to play, ready to play. He said, we're going to destroy Florida State. That didn't make me feel good as somebody that picked LSU to win the game, and then they go and they lose. You not only lose, they get embarrassed. I had high hopes for this team. I picked them, and look at it, what happens. Of course, Brian Kelly is still Brian Kelly. Florida State's good. I didn't know Florida State could be that good. Now, it is Week 1. You can be hyped up, pent up, but it's very interesting to see Florida State can be very good. Keon Coleman is a very, very good football player. He was good at Michigan State, just not utilized as much. Now he's a focal point of an offense. It's fun to watch him play, even though as a Michigan State alum, it sucks that he's not there, but he's very fun to watch, and he's going to continue to do that. Clemson might just be a dead man walking. You lose to Duke, Week 1, where you pretty much outperform them, but you still lose the game. I think it's the first time in Clemson history, I know it's the first time in Clemson history that they've rushed for 200 yards and passed for 200 yards and they lost the game. Dabo has a dead man walking program. His program is left in the 2000s. Ohio State, I know it's one game, but they don't look nor do they feel like Ohio State. In years past, we're used to this high-flying offense and all these things, and it doesn't feel the same. They just don't. It's a weird feeling. Like when Ryan Day just doesn't. They just don't feel like Ohio State. So it'll be interesting how the season progresses if they get the fire back, if they get their mojo back. And then the transfer portal has helped college football more than it's hurt it. People want to say this is bad. No, it's brought great parity to the game. You have teams like Texas State who get the third most transfers go and beat a Power 5 team. You get these fun, exciting games, more match play. You get teams like Colorado that are 1-11, and then they beat a team that was in the national title game last year. So it's very interesting. It's fun. And at the end of the day, it helps more than it hurts. All right. So as you can see from the title of this video, I have some grievances with Michigan football and their fans' perspective of what they think they are as calling themselves victims, making everybody feel bad for them, and looking stupid when in all reality, they're not victims. They are in love with false idols right now. It's weird to see. They played East Carolina Saturday. They won 30-3. But the biggest play of the game was the first offensive play. Take a look at it. As I talk about it, I'm showing you right now. They held up 4 fingers to show their love, support for their coach Jim Harbaugh, who's suspended 3 games. With his weird, wacky formation that he did a couple years ago. It was foolish. It was clownish. I don't understand it. Here's J.J. McCarthy about playing without his head coach.
It's as simple as this. I just want my coach back. It's as simple as that. I just want him back.
What was it like getting off the bus and not having him here today?
I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't expecting it to be that much different, but I personally just felt like something was missing today. And it was definitely him.
Boo freaking who. It is a joke. To me, to sit here and to be like, we're going to wear the free Harbaugh shirts, we're going to do the formation, you're making yourselves look like clowns, which that's what Michigan football loves to do. They love to make themselves look like clowns. It might be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on a football field. It's unwarranted, it's uncalled for, because look, this is we get that you miss your daddy. We get that you do all these things for your coach. I get that. it's not like he didn't do anything wrong, right? This is a self-imposed suspension by the school of 3 games. After the committee rejected his 4-game suspension proposal, as they said, we're going to further evaluate things. You can't whine and cry about how you're a victim when wrong steps were taken by Jim Harbaugh, right? He got in trouble for buying cheeseburgers during COVID when he wasn't supposed to, having recruits around when he wasn't supposed to. This is over some damn cheeseburgers, right? That's just how stupid it is. But not only is that, but then he lied to the NCAA about it, right? That's the part that is more frustrating because, look, I don't like the NCAA. Anybody has their opinions on it. Majority of the people do not like the NCAA. I'm one of them. I think that they are an organization that has made money off of kids for as long as they can, and they will continue to do that. And now that they've lost some power, we shouldn't look at them as a governing body anymore, but we have to, and it sucks. I do not agree with most of the stuff that they do, but when you lie to that governing body that there is, when there isn't many governing bodies, you're going to set yourself up for failure. And then you do these things where you make yourself look like clowns, and you just put a bigger target on your back when it comes to how people are going to view you, right? It's like when you have a coach that's suspended 3 games and the committee rejects his original 4-game suspension, say we're going to further evaluate. You don't think this is going to piss them off anymore? And the school did the self-imposed to then make it look better for him to not get suspended next year, or however the NCAA or whatever the committee is going to look at it. So the school's okay with what the players are doing. They don't care because a bunch of people are like, oh, this is school imposed. School doesn't give a shit. The school did it to help Jim Harbaugh. So they don't care what the players do. They don't care how Jim Harbaugh acts with it. But it's foolish. It's idiotic. I don't get it. Here's Jim Harbaugh talking about the love and feeling the love from his team.
You talk about turning a negative into a positive. I just love the way our team is doing that. It's a unique opportunity to build leadership, build leaders, and personally, I felt the love too, which was great from our team and from the Michigan faithful. So good day.
Jim Harbaugh saying turning a negative into a positive. So a negative that you created. I just don't get it. I get people want to use fuel and build up but this is a false idol fuel. Nobody did anything to you. You made all the problems yourself, and now you want us to feel sorry for you. You want us to rally around you. I just don't get it. It's idiotic. It makes no sense. You make yourself look like a fool, and I just don't understand it. And I think down the road, this can hurt this team and hurt Jim Harbaugh more than anything else. Jim's a wacky guy. He's going to say some crazy stuff. He's going to do some crazy stuff, right? But when you look at it, the mentality of it, it's so brand for Jim Harbaugh that it's crazy to think. But this is Jim Harbaugh. And then now you have J.J. McCarthy fueling, and it's just, I think your distractions that you already have as a college athlete and as a team that is top 2 in the country and has chances to make the playoff, win the Big Ten, win a national title. You have these things like this that I just think make a bigger target, a bigger distraction. And they don't play anybody the first 3 games, so it doesn't really matter that much. If they had a big opponent in the first 3 games, it would be different. And I don't think they'd be doing as much. But it's foolish to me, and I just wanted to bring it up because it's driving me crazy. Because it's when you love false idols, it makes you look dumber, and it's funny to see that. All right, look, Coach Prime is cooking up college football. He's cooking up something great at Colorado, and you know what? He has his receipts. Colorado last year went 1-11, right? Easily the worst team in the country. You wouldn't even be paid last year to watch a Colorado football team. But look, They hired Deion Sanders to come save the program. What did Deion do in the first game? He pretty much saved the program. Colorado was good a long time ago, before I was born. Very, very good program. National champion program. They are far from that. I think right now a lot of schools are regret not hiring Deion or not taking it seriously to hire Deion Sanders. When you look at what he brings exactly as advertised. He is going to be himself. He's the biggest star. Kids worship Deion Sanders. Parents worship Deion Sanders. They know who Deion Sanders is. Prime time. Not very many people can you say their first name, Deion, and you know exactly what they're talking about. Say a nickname, Prime, and he is that guy. And he's authentic. He's real. He's cool. He's timeless. Kids are going to want to play for him. And I think, a lot of people are like, can he coach? Can he get kids to buy into playing at a Power 5 level? Here's Deion Sanders talking about getting players to buy in.
Guess what? These young men in there right now, they believe. Not all of them believed before. But right now, they came up one by one, twos by twos. Coach, we believe. Now they believe. Now Boulder believes. People in the front office, people in the building, the fans, the students. Now everybody want to believe. I'm good with that. We got room.
Look, they were 21-point underdogs to TCU. And then they ended up winning 45-42. Deion can, and he's going to win because he's not only has he brought in players, right? The most transfers, bringing in 70, 80, how many crazy number of guys, getting young, good recruits in there. But he's built a good staff because he knows football, and people that know Deion know he knows football, and people have doubted him saying, you don't know football as much as you do. This guy is a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest players of all time. He understands football. He's coached at the high school level for a long time. Then he goes to Jackson State, does a very good job there. He understands X's and O's. Now, I know it's still a little early, and on paper, Colorado's a better roster than TCU. It's kind of crazy to think that, but their quarterback's better. They have a better top player than TCU does, and Travis Hunter, who dominated. It was far from their perfect game, but they showed how good they can be when it comes to the players that they brought in, right? And it was fun to see those players play. Shedeur Sanders passed for over 500 yards, broke a Colorado record. Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball, having over 100 yards receiving. He could have had 2 touchdowns. He got a pick, which saved a touchdown, which that pick pretty much won them the game in all the scheme of things. He could have had another interception. Freshman Dylan Edwards had 4 touchdowns. Look, they have dudes now. They're only going to get more. They're only going to get better. And I think the best part about the weekend was the people that doubted Deion and have doubted him for a long time, and he's bottled this up, and this is a real fuel. When I talk about the Jim Harbaugh fuel, the Deion fuel, this is real, right? People have doubted this man. He goes to the worst program in college football in a Power 5 conference, taking on the team that went to the national title last year, coming into their place. They're ranked, you're a 21-point underdog, and Deion got after the media, and I liked it because this is what Deion does, and this is how he brings relevance to your program, because I'm still talking about it, you're still talking about it. He's the talk of college football, and it's stuff like this that he does where he's going and backing at it with reporters about how he has receipts. That's very interesting. Here's Deion calling out the haters and talking to reporters.
We had some guys that singled themselves out with their playing and their playing ability. A lot of guys you doubted. One of them from HBCU.
Shedeur broke a single
For
game.
real? Shedeur Sanders from an HBCU?
Absolutely.
The one that played at Jackson last year?
The one that played at Jackson State last
The
year.
one that you asked me, why would I give him the starting job? But like that, no, not you. I got receipts. I know who they are. Not you, baby. I try to tell you, but you ain't want to believe me because I'm just a lofty old young coach. I don't know nothing about football. I just played in the NFL for 14, played at a high level in college for 4, and been coaching youth all the way up for a long time. What's up, boss? You believe that? You hold on. Oh no. Do you believe in that? Huh? Oh no. I read through that bull junk you wrote down. I read through that. I sifted through all that. Yeah. Oh no. Come on. Do you believe?
In what?
You don't believe.
I believe.
You just answered it. You don't believe. Next question.
Look, this is why I love Deion. This is why this guy is great for college football, because he brings a different element. And Deion talked about that too in his press conference, that he's doing things differently, and that's what makes people uncomfortable. And I completely agree. We're not used to this. We're not used to a coach. We're used to a coach getting mad at the media and going after me, but not in this way. Not in a way where he is truly forcing the media to pick sides of, do you like him, do you believe in this team, or don't you, right? And it's very interesting to have a coach do that. When you have that, it is very fun to watch. Like I said, you couldn't have been paid to watch Colorado football since the 90s. But now we're watching them. Now we're talking about them. They have another big game this week against Nebraska. Now they're a favorite. Now they're ranked. Now they're here. Like, Deion and Colorado are here. But it's still a long season, a tough schedule, in a conference that's very, very good. How do you handle those pressures? I don't know, but I do know one thing, and it's been fun, is Deion's doing things differently. It'll be interesting to see if other coaches can do this. There's not a lot of people like him, but it'll be interesting to see if other coaches or other former players can do stuff like this, where they can take on a program, build it around their aura, build it around who they are, and say, you know what? I'm going to be me. I'm going to be true. I'm going to do what I think it takes to win. I'm not going to be like everybody else. It'll be interesting. Like I said, Colorado, hard, tough schedule in a tough season where, they didn't play perfect. Their depth isn't fully there, but they played good against the TCU team to win. You look at this team and you thought, would they make a bowl game? And you beat a TCU team and you see what they can do with the players they have. You're like, this team could maybe win 7-8 games, which was not thought of when Deion got hired 6-7 months ago. So it's interesting to see, and I just love how Deion is like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to use this. I'm going to fuel it. I'm going to get people to talk about us. This is what he brings to a program. All right, week 2 picks. I went 4-4 last week. Not the greatest. I blame Brian Kelly for most of my problems last week. But this week we have number 8 Utah, who won last week against Florida. They're an 8-point favorite at Baylor, who lost last week to Texas State. Utah's good. Baylor's kind of like TCU, where it's like, they're good, you think, but how totally are they going to be? I think Baylor plays tough, but I think Utah ultimately pulls away and wins this game. Just speaking of Colorado, Nebraska, who is 0-1 after the, yet again, close point loss to Minnesota. Matt Rule's got a big psychological problem to break. Deion broke it at Colorado because he's brought in some new guys. Matt Rule brought in some new guys, but not as much, so you still have to fight through the psychological problem. Nebraska is far out, I think, than even Matt Rule thought. And they are now playing at number 22 Colorado, who is 1-0. Colorado's a 3-point favorite. I think this game's going to be tough. I think it's going to be one where we expect Colorado to kind of come in and win it, but I think Nebraska's going to play tough. But, look, I'm believing in Coach Prime. I am putting the Kool-Aid. I said yesterday about sipping the Kool-Aid. No, I am throwing the Kool-Aid, a Kool-Aid bath on myself when it comes to Colorado football. I believe in Coach Prime. I think they can win these non-conference games. It's going to be interesting to see the conference games, but I think they beat Nebraska. Number 20, Ole Miss, who's 1-0, is minus 7.5-point favorite at number 24, Tulane, who's 1-0. This is a very interesting game. This is one of those games where this could be the game of the week when it's all said and done. I'm a big proponent of the Lane train. Choo choo! This is what I do. I like Lane Kiffin. Crazy is they scored like 70 points against San Jose, West Valley, Catholic High School, whoever they played last week. So, interesting. But I kind of like Tulane. There's something about Tulane that I kind of like. The Green Wave. kind of like them. It's going to be like 90 degrees, Tulane playing at home. It's just, there's a feel of Tulane. I like Tulane in this game. All right, number 23, Texas A&M, 1-0, minus 4-point favorite at Miami, who is also 1-0. I think this could be a very interesting game. I think it's one that we like. You look at it and you're like, man, this should be a very good game against the top 15 teams. It's not that way. A&M struggles of last year. Miami, Mario Cristobal in his first year, struggles of last year. This game's tough. I'm going to go with A&M to win it, but I think it's going to be close. All right, the betting bowl game. We have Iowa 1-0, minus 4-point favorite at Iowa State, who's also 1-0, because it's a betting bowl. Both teams have a history of gambling and making major bets off of each other's. If you don't know, look it up. Iowa State. This is one of those weird rivalries. It's somebody that's like doesn't know much about Iowa. I've never been there. I don't get the feeling of Iowa. Right? It's like it's a big one, but it's one that you're like, crazies out there in Iowa. What the hell is going on? Give me the Hawkeyes. They have an offense. Who would have thought? This on paper is the game of the week. Number 11 Texas 1-0 at number 3 Alabama 1-0 as well. Alabama's a 7-point favorite. This game was close last year. This game was won off of two things. Quinn Ewers gets hurt. Bryce Young wins Alabama the game. Here's the thing. Texas has Quinn Ewers healthy. Here's the thing. Alabama, they don't have Bryce Young anymore. This will be a very interesting game. I'm high on Texas this year. But it's still Alabama. It's Nick Saban. But I don't care. I'm going with the Longhorns to win this game. I don't know what it is. It's just a feeling down in my gut where it's like they should have won last year. I think they can win this year. I think they're a little bit better than they were last year. Alabama, a little bit harder, a little bit worse. Not saying Alabama's a bad team, but they're not as good as they were last year because they don't have Bryce Young. All right, in the last game, number 13 Oregon, who is 1-0, is minus 6.5-point favorite at Texas Tech, who's 0-1. They lost to Wyoming last weekend. This is a spicy one because Texas Tech's going to play tougher than they did last week after losing to Wyoming, kind of like Baylor with the Utah game. I think it's going to be close. Bo Nix, when he goes to Oregon, he just like plays different because he's not in the SEC. He's in a much easier conference, so it's a little bit more free-flowing. You can do a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see how Texas Tech comes back into a week where it's like you should have won last week, but you didn't. I don't know how you psychologically get over that. I like Oregon in this one, but I think it'll be close. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Look, Michigan fans, you're not victims. You're not. Quit crying, whining, go play football. Colorado is back. I don't know if you could ever say that, but they were in the 90s. Coach Prime has brought them to relevancy and brought them national fame, right? Like we're talking about them all the time now. And then this week's pick. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching.